Right, almost ready, and then we'll dive straight into everything. Right, I'm ready. Data in the coming week. Potentially quiet on Monday. We've got a lot of half of Europe away and Canada away on Monday, with very little data. So the real data, let's have a look. New Zealand rates. God, it's a quiet week. Oh, US GDP. Okay. Thursday we've got US GDP before the market opens. That's it. That's the highlight of the week. This market is very bullish. It's not letting go. A couple of flat weeks in the Dow. So we pushed up, made a new high a couple of weeks back at 35,100, and we closed lower 2 weeks in a row, but always inside of this May range. The dips are getting bought, so we keep getting closer to this 20-day average on this weekly Dow. So I suspect, if we're getting a situation where first half of the week is weak and the second half of the week gets bought up, expect the same again, because we've got US GDP on Thursday anyway. So let's look at the daily, and then we'll look at the, so you can see we've potentially got this little bull flag going on. So all this support is getting bought, but we're not able to close above this level here, 35.5. So that's the concern for the bulls. But we did close above the 20-day average. Any market that can hold the 20-day average is buyable in my book. So 33,900 plus is potentially the pullback area, and we need to see if we can get back up to that all-time high. Let's look at the other indices, and then we can get going on stocks. Nasdaq's quite a different kettle of fish at the moment. So we're under a couple of major averages there, sitting on the 89. Let's look at the weekly. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4. For 5 weeks in a row, we've been range bound. But all the time, so we are potentially outside of this funnel. We're literally just clinging onto it. So it's bullish, but on the edge. Let's look at the DAX, the German DAX. Similar story to the US, range bound, very range bound. The lows are getting bought, but we're not going anywhere. So at the moment, I mean, it's healthy in a bull market like this to expect a push lower before this market's ready to push higher. So don't be at all surprised if we may even make new lows. Who knows? It will still be bullish if these markets dipped right underneath this support. It's possible that's what this market needs. If you get range bound and you're in a bull market, that's potentially over once you get a better pullback, a better retracement. So that could be what we're facing here. But on what we're seeing at the moment is this is borne out by this DAX daily. Here we are right under this resistance. we keep knocking our head up against this 15.5. So expect, like I said, if we see the same pattern as we've seen for the last 2-3 weeks, even more in the Nasdaq, seen for 5 weeks on Nasdaq, then expect a pullback, and then we may potentially go and find that 15.5 plus. FTSE, surprise, surprise, same story. The lows are getting bought, but we're not able to really break. But we are, as with the Dow, we did close above the 20-day average. So absolutely no reason to sell. Dips are still buyable. Right, let's look at the dollar. Dollar's trying to cling on to these lows. This is the daily chart, by the way. It's very bearish. Any push higher into that 90.5, 91, could see that get another leg down to that this recent low, 89. So you may see an uptick as we get in towards the GDP data, but if this pattern plays out, we should end up lower. Let's look at the Volatility Index. Nice and low, so we had a squirt higher on the 12th, and here we are down at the lows. Let's look at the 10-year notes. 10-year notes are picking up, and that's as long as they don't squirt higher, as long as you don't get a run for cover. If they grind higher, that's potentially bullish. You need a sustainable debt market for a bull market. If these bonds start to drop underneath here, that means the yields go up, and that is potentially bearish. So the fact these 10-year notes are moving sideways and pointing up is bullish. Bear with me one moment. Right, let's move on to stocks. I've done a lot of scanning, so I'll share with you some of those scan results. Let me just go and find my overall. We'll do a quick scan of recent stocks. I'm going to do this in my normal super fast way. So BT pushing new 2021 highs up there at one. That looks as if we're going to see. We look as if we're heading for two pounds on that, and we're currently 175. Rolls had a great week. I think Rolls is holding 105. I expect that to get to 110 possibly this week. POG is struggling. Let's have a look at POG. Gold is doing well, but this one is just not doing it. Appears to be management issues as per the notes that were posted last week. Thank you for that. Whereas Pan-African stocks like this one are continuing to build. So that POG is looking like it's potentially going to come lower. This one, on the other hand, has come up from 15.5 to 20. So any pullbacks to 18 are potentially viable. Volumes are good, but if you're not in this, 18.5 is a pullback. So unfortunately, POG so far has turned out to be not great. Now we need to look very closely at IQE because this one is going. So this has bounced. So we gapped up on Thursday. I would hope this can get to 50. We're up there at 53. Let's hope we can. The volumes are improving, but we hit a resistance line already. So I'm going to hope that that one pulls back. Right, going across. Hammerson is looking good. It's sort of middling around 37, but that looks higher. Tylo is holding 50. That looks as if we can go back to 60. Sage has done well. Any pullback to 650 in Sage. Let's look at Money Supermarket because this one's been a good one. Money Supermarket has had a good push into 272. That is potentially a good one at 268 if you're not in it. Anything lower is a bonus. Volumes are very good. Moving along. SSE is holding up well. Tattooed Chef is having a good run. 88 Energy. Yeah, this one looks, this is a good one. Volumes are getting better. If you're able to get anything close to a penny, then that we have obviously been up there at 4.6. Obviously, don't put your house on that. Just go easy. Right, let's look at some other UK stuff that I've been scanning and see what you think of these. DG, I think it's I9. Yeah. I like it, but it's sitting very high. Digital 9 Infra, I'm just going to keep that on my watch list. It's too high. I don't like buying high. Let's look at Metro Bank. This is, I like this one. Volumes are not bad. It's been range bound. What do you guys think of this one? You tell me what you think. What are you seeing on that? So that's come from a low of 58. Currently up there at 110. The main line seems to be 137. Do you guys like that stock? Volumes are good but not brilliant. We're under all the averages. So I would prefer to see that go to a higher number, but it's sitting high and not going anywhere. We've been in this range since mid-March, but well worth a watch. Let's see if there's any better ones. Let's have a look. I've got NESF. No, I can't trade that at the moment. If I'm going to trade that one, I need a decent pullback. That's sitting very close to resistance. So again, that's on a watch list. Let's look at, oh no, sorry, that shouldn't be on the list. Forget RSA. Let's have an update on Ocado. Yeah, so Ocado is struggling. We're not moving out. We're not able to close above that we did once. That is really struggling. And volumes are showing weakness as well. So again, I wouldn't touch that unless the volumes start to pick up, the buyers start to come in on that. Sabre. I've obviously looked at this in the past. That's a heavily range bound stock as well, and we're at just above the midpoint. It's a big box play actually. We've been in and out in this range since been in this range for 2.25 years, and the volume's not picking up, so that's scrubbed as well. SLI, so SLI. Nope, God, this scan's not proving to be very good, is it? The best one out of that pick is Metrobank, but only if we close above those at that lowest average. Right. Any other stocks you guys have got? Let's have a quick look at the main UK list. Let's have a look at the banks. Lloyd's is not going anywhere at the moment. That's just sitting up at those highs. EasyJet's not going anywhere. Somebody's in Britpick. Britpick's sitting up close to the highs. There's BT doing really well on volume. We've been talking about this one for months on end, ever since it was a 96p. What have you posted? BME. Oh, B&M again. Okay. Yeah, this one is. I think that's a weak-looking chart to me. I've noticed that a lot of the retailers like M&S and etc. and even Next are seeing at the very least a lot of profit taking. That looks as if that's coming down to 540. That's a sell signal to me. That's a sell signal. The volume on the downside was not huge, so it's potentially just a pullback. We're holding the 20-day average, but I would have thought that wants to come lower. If you're in it, personally, I would have been taking profits at 575, 580 anyway. Where are we? We're down there at 565. If that were to turn around and close above 570, we could go back to the highs. But there's an awful lot of red on that chart, and the volume, the buyers are just don't seem to be stepping in on that. If you look at this volume, let me get my pen. Every time when this pushed up, the volume did go up, but not enormously. It wasn't like this period here and this leap here. and it immediately dropped quite heavily. So from 570, we were under 540. Quite no, sorry, 570. We came down to about 545 quite quickly. Every time we push up, we seem to drop for a good few days. And we push up, we drop heavily. We push up, we drop. So it's really, you know, I don't want to sort of overcook this, but it could potentially be seeing a distribution pattern. Certainly the volume is poor. Right. Well, I'm indecisive as well, because, and the charts are indecisive. Like as I said to you when I was looking at the US indices, this market is holding the 20-day average. So in theory, any market that holds the 20-day average is still bullish. But I can't say any more than that. Who knows? It could turn around and by Tuesday, Wednesday, be above 570, 580, and go up there to 640. But it's potentially a lower high and could really come off. So it's certainly on the edge. You know, it's certainly, you know, if we close under 550, expect to see that really drop. But close back above 580, and we could then get your 600. I'm just concerned about the volume. Right, let's move on. JUP, what's JUP? I don't know JUP. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, that's good. So we've recently been up there at 295. This is 280. Yeah, you know what? This looks good. Any pullback to 270, 275 could potentially get you to 3. If we can close above that, you could start to get a pop and wind back into, yeah, I like JUP. It's come a long way from 150 to 280, but a very bullish chart on volume. See, look at how the volume is increasing on this. That's what you want to see. If a price is going to be supported, it's got to have the demand. And at the moment, this is showing the demand. Whereas that B&M example didn't. Right, let me go back to the hot list. Any others? Reckitt's holding up. Informer. Oh, Informer's getting interesting. Informer looks as if it's coming into some support. I certainly would not buy that at this stage. Astra. Got a very nice run. Are you still in Astra? Asos. Asos looks interesting. That had a buy signal on Thursday. I think Asos looks higher. Rent-a-kill. That's a big volume bar on Thursday. I think Rent-a-kill looks good. It's got a gap down there at 472. So if we get any bad days coming up and that dips, that might, I will be interested in that. I would buy that. Right, let's look at what else have I got? Oh, we didn't look at oil stocks. Shell holding up, BP holding up, Syneos Energy. This is a cheapie. Certainly can't recommend that at this stage. That would need to start to have a significant amount higher volume and higher price. Cineworld has had a run, has pulled right back. Capita's sitting on a lot of support. That reminds me of that's very much like Metrobank. No, I've got nothing else to look at. Barclays sitting up, struggling. Right, let's look at we'll look at the US stocks I've got. So I'm just scanning here, bear with me 1 second. Medtronic is still doing it. That still looks higher. CVS has been on a lovely run. Bristol Myers, still happy to be in Bristol Myers. That's a buy at 65. Palantir, let's see if PLTR, no, it's still not doing that. It's certainly looking a lot better. It's looking a lot better. So that could be, I think Fubo and Skills are looking better as well. Similar sort of pattern. Skills is struggling. Right, I've got a couple of other, got some interesting US stocks, and then I'm going to go SGFY. This is a watch list, not one for me. I'm not buying into this yet, but I am interested. Been as high as 40. We're down here at 26. Looks lower so far, but I'm definitely keeping a very close eye on that one. Similar story with this newbie. Volume's beginning to pick up. It's come off from 78. So again, I'm not buying into that yet, but I want to see that close above 40. That's 908 devices. CDXS. If you've got anything you want me to look at, shout now. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I'm going to be patient and wait for at least 18 on CDXS. Let's look at Coinbase. Because I'm just, again, a major watch list. EMPH, I meant to look at that one. So that's just a watch list as well. ENPH. Yeah, it's had a really nice run, hasn't it, on volume. So it's come up from 110. Wow, very, very nice run. It's hit a lot of resistance. and the volume is tapering off a bit. So if you're in this and you saw 145, potentially a good place to take profits. I think we might see that drift lower. It's very strong. Well, it has been very strong on this pullback. We've gone into a major area of resistance. If you're a long-term investor, sit tight. If you're a short-term investor, consider taking profits. If you're looking to get in this, try and wait for 125. See if it dips to 125. Yeah, I mean, what's your target on that? What's your plan with it? Yeah, like I said, if you're a long-term investor, sit tight. I think after this big wave here, I do think you might see that pull right back. I don't think that's, I mean, certainly no reason to sell it. And if we close higher Monday, Tuesday, that could go and see 155 and go and retrace to 170, 150, right? Yeah. Well, you were very close. 145 is a major resistance point. You know what? If it's really bullish, it won't come much further down than 135 if it's really bullish. So it's a good stock. BKNG. Before I do that, let's have a look at that one. Yeah, see this is a good US stock. Volume's really coming back into this DraftKings. Let me put that back on the list. Right, let's look at your BKNG. Yeah, somebody else was. I was looking at this last year. It's not brilliant. It's again, it's a bit like your ENPH. It's had a run, gone into quite an area of congestion, resistance, and struggling. I think you might see 2230 before that goes higher. BLNK, yeah, I have been tracking this one. Yeah, very, very similar. It's had a good run right to, you can see this pink zone, 34.5. Volumes are not great at the moment. So again, that might pull back. All right, let's look at some bellwethers in the US and before I go. So I get an update on Pfizer. That's sitting up at resistance. PayPal, similar pattern, isn't it? Good run, hit resistance, looks higher. Curiosity streaming. That's a nice pickup off that low. Square. Ooh. I thought Square was doing a little bit better than this. Okay. Square is an interesting one. Decent area. I'll keep a close eye on Square. Boom. That's had a good run. Right, bellwethers, I said, didn't I? So let's go to let's look at Apple. Pushed into resistance, closed lower. That's, I have to say, that not a great performance last week, so that could drop lower. Goldman's sitting up at close to the highs, looks higher. Coke sitting up the highs, looks all right. Boeing. Yeah, I read somewhere they're just, well, I read over the weekend they are just about to increase their production of the MAX 737. Just end the MAX plane anyway. They're going to start producing 42 a month. That Boeing looks higher. And it looks as if that might be able to go back to 275 on Boeing, which bodes well for the market overall. Dow Chemicals sitting up. Caterpillar sitting up. Nike sideways, potentially a little bit lower. All right, so you get the picture. Okay, Square's got a related. Okay, so we've got a market that is sitting up. Seems to be willing to go higher. The pullbacks in indices are getting bought. We've got US, a quiet week on the data front with the focus on Thursday's US GDP. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to dash off now. Thanks very much for your company. Tune in on Wednesday. All right, thanks very much, guys. Enjoy what's left of your weekend. Bye.